hurricanes.
Same here.
And yeah, when they start talking about the last time with Ian, when they started talking about tornadoes, my dog and I sat in the closet for a couple of hours with the flashlight and a book, and she had her bed, and hey, you ride it out.
I agree. I've always ridden them out, like you're saying.
Yeah. I ride them out because I'm sorry, I'm staying in my house.
Yeah, I've known people that will drive to another state and then they'll get a tornado spin-off and that area loses power and they're stuck there. So
I know.
I'd rather be stuck at home. Right?
You and me both. I want my own bed, my own house.
That's right. That's
kind
right.
Of thing, and you make do.
Well, the next question's getting away from the monies and the crazy things going on here with insurance and rising costs for the average citizen. What would your thoughts be on attracting new business opportunities and good paying jobs here to the Cape Coral area? Not that we don't have good paying jobs now, but with more and more people moving here, we're going to need more
jobs.
Opportunities
yes,
and good jobs.
We need more opportunities. And not only that, I know the current council keeps talking about they feel that their pay and basically the upper echelon pays should be in the 75th percentile. Well, that's all fine and nice, but you got the guy down on the bottom of the pile who, there are people that work here in Cape Coral, that work for the city, that are making $13 an hour. They could go to McDonald's and make more money. And, that's sad. We need to basically reevaluate across the whole board the pay scales, because I firmly believe that people who work here in Cape Coral should be able to afford to live here.
Sure.
And if they can't, wait a minute, why? What are we doing? What do we need to modify or change to make it livable? Kind of situation.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of these municipalities, or counties will do like some type of a tax incentive to attract businesses from other areas to move here and build a building. And
yeah, there are possibilities. I think light manufacturing. I mean, I'm not talking about like real big heavy manufacturing, a car dealership, a car manufacturer plant.
Right.
No, but smaller businesses, I think, would be an advantageous situation, and depending on the business and what they plan on doing, manufacturing, and what they plan on, how long they plan on staying.
Yes.
Which makes a big difference, because
you
can build a building, be here for 2 years, and say, nah, we're not going to stay here, we're moving, kind of thing. Now you've given them a tax incentive for 2 years, and what have you accomplished? We need to think in terms of the long term, and if they are willing to commit to staying here for 10 years, 15 years, because we need to look at the long-term range in terms of what we're doing to our city and how we're building the city and what we can accomplish in this city. Then, fine, then you talk a tax incentive. But there has to be that commitment. If you're not committing, and I feel the same way like with the first responders, with the police and the fire department. We now have the training facilities for both. Well, we're training them. We spend all this money training them, and now they leave because they can get higher paying jobs somewhere else, or they can afford to live somewhere else. No, we need to look in terms of if the police or the firemen, after the training facilities, are willing to commit to staying here and working here for 10 years. And I'm talking commit in writing. I'm not talking any verbal anything.
Right.
I'm talking black and white commit in writing, then yes, we need to have a subsidy for the first responders. Because then, if we're training them and we're training quality people, we want to keep quality people here.
Absolutely.
So we need to do whatever we need to do to make it advantageous for somebody to stay here, live here, and work here.
Gotcha. That kind of leads into the next question and the final question that folks have asked us is about the crime rate here. I think what you're suggesting is that if the police that we train here were maybe given a little better pay scale, they'd be more apt to stay here, and then you'd have the housing subsidy that you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about, yes, and I'm talking about a housing subsidy so that they can afford to buy a reasonable quality home here in the Cape. I mean, and I'm not talking this $800,000 on the water, that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm talking a reasonable quality home for them and their families. And then, yes, we give them a housing subsidy. And yes, there would be restrictions on it if they choose to turn around and not stay for the guaranteed 10 years. They got to refund that money back to the city.
Gotcha.
That kind of thing. But if we are setting things up, and if the police, we're training them, and obviously if we're training them at the police training facility, we are training for quality. Not for quantity, but for quality. Well, if we have quality, then they are going to be able to handle the crime rate.
Maybe spot things that untrained people might not spot.
That's right. And not only that, they would also, I think, more, because then this is their home too, then they would be more likely to notice the little details. And if they're noticing the little details, the crime rate may not go up. I mean, and I'm not living in a dream world that I'm saying, oh, crime won't go up. It's a necessary, unfortunately it happens. But if we are taking precautions and making this home for everyone, then the whole idea of if you see it, say something, people would be more likely to do so.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know, like when I was a kid, if you saw something crazy going on, you were supposed to go tell a cop.
Yeah.
And you felt comfortable doing that.
Yeah. And I think with the training facilities, we have quality people, and we already have quality police. I'm not saying we don't. We do. But with the training facilities, we have more quality police so that because they can be stretched just so thin.
Sure.
Let's be reasonable. They can't work 24/7.
That's right.
And we'd be able to handle things more. And I think with knowing that the current council is getting involved in all of the city's issues and city situations, citizens, if they feel that they're being listened to, citizens would then be willing to get more involved.
Right.
And in a see it, say it type of a situation.
Makes sense.
And that's why, like in my district, in District 2, I have told a lot of people that I've talked to that if I get elected and I'm up on the dais, once a month I want to have a town hall meeting with District 2. I will come equipped with pad and pen and give me your name, your address, and tell me what your issue is. Let's talk about this, because if I don't know about this, I can't help you try to fix it.
Right.
And if we did it at either in District 2, Sands Park or Camelot Park, both of which are in the district, and people were willing to come and participate, and I have yet to run into anyone who has said, no, I'm not doing that. they all have said, wow, that's a great idea. I said, not only that, you get to know your neighbors, maybe not your immediate neighbors, but the neighbors across the street, the neighbors down the street, so that if we have a catastrophic situation like an Ian, people know, hey, I know my neighbor down the street. I can call, let me see if they need help or who can help who. It's neighbors helping neighbors.
Yep.
And that's
That
what I
makes
want to
sense.
be up on the dais. Neighbors helping neighbors, I want the citizens listened to, and I want to be aware of what their concerns are. Because if I don't know, I can't do anything to help it. And I want to be able to help it.
That sounds good, Lori. Well, that wraps up the questions that we have. Do you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation?
No, sir.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And visit AmericanCivilDebate.com and enter any additional questions that you might have. Put them on there, and we will get back in touch with Lori and the other candidates and ask